waterfall, V model, incremental model. What is the difference between Scrum and Kanban? Don't be afraid. After this video, you will understand everything you need to know about the software development lifecycle, and you will become star in the interview. Also, I'm gonna tell you about the software testing lifecycle, but more on it later. What is SDLC? For strange, scary letters. But what do they mean? If we decode this abbreviation, SDLC is the software development lifecycle. But what is this lifecycle? How does it work and why do we need to follow it? I'll start here with a little example. To have a tasty dinner, we have such steps. Firstly, we got an idea that we want to eat, so we plan our future cooking activities. Then we decide what exactly we want to eat. It can be Mexican, Italian or Ukrainian food. So we gathering all the requirements for our dinner. Then we design in which way our dinner should be implemented. We can have it delivered or we can cook it ourselves. Then we implement our plans in real life. We decided to order the Ukrainian food and wait for our courier. Then we get our food and we can test our dinner to check if it is really tasty. Now we need to have a rest after such a good dinner that we successfully implemented. It looks like a smooth process. And I would bet that you follow all this process without even thinking, because you know that all these steps will lead to your goal, a tasty dinner. So the process of developing software is similar. And now I propose to read the definition of the SDLC. SDLC is a structured process that enables the production of high-quality, low-cost software in the shortest possible production time. And the second definition will be from STQB, as usual. SDLC is the activities performed at each stage in software development and how they relate to one another, logically and chronologically. So you got it. SDLC is a process that consists of different stages, and now we will talk about them. And the first is planning. This is the phase when we plan our app development. It is obvious. Also, during this phase, we need to understand if it is possible to create such a product, how much money do we need for it, and if we will benefit from it or not. Requirements analysis. After planning, we need to create normal, clear requirements. Because you know what happens if requirements are shitty.
What the f*** is that?
Requirements are created by business analyst or product owner. Software tester doesn't create requirements. Design. After requirements have been established, the team should analyze them to decide what programming language and third-party tools to use, what security measures need to be taken. The most important part here is to document everything that was discussed about, development or implementation. What could it be? Yes, it is definitely coding. Testing! Yes, it is just testing, but actually not that simple. You will see why later in this video. Deployment! On this phase, we need to deploy our app to the production. This means that the app will be available to all users on the internet. Before deploying an app, QA should test it properly to avoid very friendly comments from the client. Maintenance. On this phase, we support our product. As far as you know, there is no app without bugs in the entire world. If you don't know these testing principles, where have you been? Go to this link quickly. So in this phase, we as a team test and fix the bugs that could be found by our clients or users on the platform. So why do we need to know this? In the example above, we followed all the steps because they were clear to use and led to really amazing results. And also, in the SDLC definition, we could see that it helps to create high-quality product with a low budget. But how could it be? I thought it was obvious. So let's imagine that you have a mess in your room, a really mess, and you need to clean here. But you don't have any rules where should your clothes be, where should be your pencils. You don't know anything, so you don't know how to start and how much time it will take. If you have some structured process, your cleaning will be faster and the results better. The same applies to SDLC. With a structured process, we can estimate plan, schedule, deliver our product, and get the best user satisfaction we could. That's simple. Also, you need to know this because nobody wants a software tester who knows nothing. SDLC! Trainee software testers often make millions mistakes when trying to explain what STLC is, which differs from SDLC by just one letter. Abbreviation decoding is simple. STLC is the software testing life cycle. All software testers are nerds because we fucking love processes and following them. If you are not so nerdy, you have nothing to do here. Anyway, you can always be a developer. They don't have a clue what the process is. So every process has its phases, and the testing process is not an exception. And I already mentioned them in the first video, but today we will talk more about them. And we start from the test planning. According to ISTQB, test planning consists of defining the test objectives and then selecting an approach that best achieves the objectives within the constraints imposed by the overall context. Perfect explanation, as usual. So, during this phase, we must answer the question such as: what should we test? How should we test? When we should test? How much time will it take? All these answers we should describe and create some very important documents such as test plan, test strategy, test schedule, risk register, and entry and exit criteria. How to create all these documents you will see in the test planning video. Don't miss it. And the next phase is the test analysis. Some words from STQB. Test analysis includes analyzing the test basis to identify testable features and to define and prioritize associated test conditions together with related risks and risk levels. Test analysis answers the question what to test in terms of measurable coverage criteria. In this phase, we should analyze our requirements and decide what should be tested first. What can we test? Do we have all requirements we need? Are the requirements complete? So you got it. During this phase, we need to review and analyze our requirements to make early testing and to prevent bugs on this stage. The work products on this phase are prioritize test condition or acceptance criteria, defect reports regarding defects in our requirements if they weren't fixed directly. Also, during requirement analysis, we can use different kinds of review, such as inspection, informal review, technical review, walkthrough. More information about the review process and review activity will be in the requirement analysis video, so smash the like button to speed up the release of the video. Next, our phase is test design. During this phase, we need to create different test cases using various test design techniques and approaches. ISTQB says that test design also includes defining the test data requirements, designing the test environment, and identifying any other required infrastructure and tools. Test design answers the question how to test. That makes sense, because during this phase we also prepare test data requirements and test environment requirements and prioritize our already created test cases. All that is our work product for this phase. After the test design is test implementation. Here we must prepare everything for our testing. What ISTQB says about it? Test implementation includes creating or acquiring the testware necessary for test execution. Manual and automated test scripts are created. The test environment is built and verified to be set up correctly. In this phase, we should sound paranoid. We should doubt and ask ourselves such questions. Do we have everything ready for testing? Do we have correctly set up build or environment? Are all our test cases finished and scheduled? Sounds creepy. Not to be scared, we must do such activities. Verify bidirectional traceability between test cases and requirements. By doing this, you will be sure that you covered all features. Prioritize test cases and create a test execution schedule with the most efficient sequence for execution test cases. It also called test run. After that, we can easily go to the actual testing phase. Ladies and gentlemen, beloved by everybody, test execution! It is actually tested when we press the buttons, run our test cases, find the bugs, and so on. STQB says that test execution includes running the test in accordance with the test execution schedule. Actual test results are compared with the expected results. The test results are logged. Anomalies are analyzed to identify their likely causes. The only questions that could be on this phase are why? Why do we have these bugs? Why do I have this anomaly in this component? Why can't I reproduce this bug? And so on. And the test work products are testing logs and bug report. I know that you definitely have a question. What should we do with our analyzed data? The answer is easy. Go to the next phase. Test completion. This is the last stage in STLC. During this phase, we need to gather all testing results, create test completion report, and send it to our clients. But STQB says one interesting thing about the analysis here. The test activities are analyzed to identify lessons learned and improvements for future iterations, releases, or projects. So you got it. In test execution phase, we create a bug report. But in test completion phase, we analyze what we can do to improve the test with the knowledge about this anomaly. Now, I missed one phase, and I would bet that you could not guess. I'll give you 3 seconds to think about what can it be. 1, 2, 3. Monitoring and control. This is one of the most important phases of the testing. Also, unlike other phases, this phase doesn't go sequentially. According to STQB, test monitoring involves the ongoing checking of all test activities and the comparison of actual progress against the plan. Test control involves taking the actions necessary to meet the objectives of testing. So test monitoring helps us to understand how we are going with our test plan and schedule. It could be done using a test progress report, which shows us a current testing situation. And if something is wrong, feature was shifted, blocked for a long time, or just testing took too much time, then we start test control phase. What does it mean? We analyze what goes wrong and why, and take some actions to achieve the goal of the sprint, project, etc. It could be reprioritizing test cases, adjusting a test schedule to address a delay, adding in new resources when and where it's needed. That's all about STLC. Now you know that every process has its phase, and in STLC all phases are going sequentially, except one phase.